That's what's up. One of the people that you work with throughout your career has been Empire with Ghazi and Naeem, and you was basically started with them in the beginning. Can you give us some insight on how was it like working with Empire and the people that you brought over?
Ghazi was the answer to the thought processes that I had been creating, because I created the first download cards. I created where you click that I took over radio stations. I was the first person who took over Power 92 and took over Hour. I was my own program director. Nobody can tell me what to put on the radio. And that's when I realized Chicago didn't want to win.
Wow.
When he said he wanted to see me win. Because they would complain about not being able to get on radio. I went and bought the Hour and said, hey, come, let's get on radio.
Exactly.
Right? But they didn't comprehend that. And so even in my lesson of that, I would say, give me $100 so you can get put on radio. That was like, why? Because nobody understood. He's like, that's payola. I said, no. If you go buy a 30-second commercial on radio right now, it costs something.
Yeah.
So you tell me I'm supposed to put a 3-minute fucking song on for free?
Yeah.
This is called advertising and marketing, but the translation wasn't there
Exactly.
for them to understand. So in that advancement, that technology gap was already there. So I was already starting to, I was basically first streaming ever.
It was before your time.
I was on
with
time.
With that situation.
I was on time because I created the download hour. So what you heard, you got to stream and download it immediately if you had a download card. Wow. I was the one giving out the QR code so you can scan and giving you perspective. This is in 2005.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
21
at that
years
time,
ago.
yeah.
Right. So in that conversion of independence, I was bored and I went to the West Coast and said, I always challenged myself. I've never been someplace and I can go break the code and create a new business model. Let me go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got introduced to Ghazi because he just put out Sage the Gemini. And they had a misunderstanding about what a contract meant. Basically, if I put up $500,000, I got to get my $500,000 back, right? Yeah. And so, but Ghazi did a lot of studying where he used to work at, and he created the non-exclusive distribution deal. So they gave you freedom, so your masters weren't tied up.
Okay.
You just needed a department to sell your music. So for that, I knew what to do with that, and most people didn't. Mm-hmm. It was just him and Nima is his proper name at the time, and then they brought Eamon on. But in that context, I was able to illustrate something. Imagine I'm on the West Coast, and they're based in San Francisco. I'm changing the rhythm of how they do business. Right. Everybody from the West Coast, from California, from LA to San Francisco. So I take a little boy from Oakland called Raven Justice, and I make him so big on the West Coast. The West Coast is just like a country. Right. So you got everybody from YG. Everybody's looking at how, YG, Moses, Joe Moses. What's the beautiful young lady name? I can't. All my names are falling short. But in reference to people that was running radio, we knew what to do with it. And then a guy named Kennard Carter was back there. So I was guiding the energy of how to break a record. And that's what we brought Jeremiah out there and broke Fuck You All the Time. Right. But the concept of all that meant that if I can take somebody from nowhere and then now he's getting touring in Europe, who the fuck is Rita Lee? That's all you kept hearing. Who the fuck is Rita Lee? Who the fuck is Rita Lee? Right? But I understand the business that needed to be shown as an example of how to do the process. You have so many quarters. You have so many things from January to December. You know it's going to be Super Bowl, Grammys, All-Star, Oscars, South by Southwest, BET Awards wasn't there yet, but then the ESPYs, VMAs, so forth and so on, right? Mm-hmm. If you understand that, that's a schedule for you.
Exactly.
And if you want to be in the Grammys, you have to make your product out before September. So those things, given infrastructure, is what made me like Ghazi, because they had the non-exclusive. And by doing that, I kept telling everybody, I said, yo, you tied up, but you can come bring this project over and be non-exclusive and get your jig on. Mm-hmm. And because Ghazi was passionate about music, that's how that integration happened. And for that, it was like a good and bad taste, because I never wanted to be tied up with people, and everybody still had an entitlement about life. So if I put you directly in tune with Empire, how the fuck has something to do with me now?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But through that cautiousness, everybody's like, yo, redesign me. I don't want to do shit, because if you misunderstand business, you're going to blame me.
Right.
And 90% of people have energy that misunderstood business and choose to blame me because I'm an easy to fall guy, because I chose not to be with nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yep.
And for that, what's crazy, if you look at the blueprint is this. Nobody's ever said something about me, has ever said it to my face. Nobody's ever had no issues, have never brought it to the table to discuss it properly. You know why? It was okay for them to try to manipulate the sob story. They don't know my lies over here, so let me go tell you these. You know, hey. Right? The blueprint, if I call it, when you get broke, you go crying and crying a river. But the story about empire, they empower people, and some people became codependent like it was public aid.
Right.
And didn't do the work. Right? But Ghazi is a great, phenomenal person. He put together a great, phenomenal team. It works for a lot of people. But at the same time, you have Create Music Group with Wayne.
Yeah.
Their evaluation is crazy because they understood the analytics of business. And then you have those independent aspects of what Create did, brought technology to another level with distribution and stuff like that. And that's another brother from Chicago, Wayne Hampton.
Yeah, shout out to Wayne.
And so with that, I don't even know if I answered your motherfucking question, but at the end of the day.
No, you did for sure.